For athletes, the Olympics marks the pinnacle of years of blood, sweat and tears, the zenith of tens of thousands of hours of training and competing. But for almost 40% of men, the only thing preventing them from taking part in the 2028 Olympic Games is a professional coach and a strict training regime. The research, which was commissioned by Vauxhall to mark its partnership with Team GB, also found that a third of adults think confidence is more important than natural talent, with 24% describing themselves as quietly confident about their own sporting ability. Here to tell us just how deluded these people, and I suppose I am, is double Olympian and European bronze and world championship silver medal winner in the modern pentathlon, Greg Whyte, OBE, and Sky Andrew, former Olympic table tennis player who won 3 gold medals at the 1989 Commonwealth Table Tennis Championships. Good afternoon to you both.
Good afternoon.
So let's start. Well, Greg, let's start. The modern pentathlon. It's fencing, freestyle swimming, equestrian show jumping, pistol shooting and cross-country running. Isn't that just proof you don't need to be the best, the absolute best at any single discipline?
Absolutely right. It's as easy as pie. Basically, just rock up. If you've got a pair of trainers, you're in.
So you reckon I've got a chance there?
Oh, listen, I've never seen you. I've no idea what your performance is, but of course, it's only the Olympics. I mean, it must be that simple, mustn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's look, confidence is a wonderful thing. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But look, if I had a pound for a number of production companies who had approached me and said, Greg, what we want you to do is train the general, people from the general population to make the Olympic Games. And the easiest response I make to them is, right, what I want to do is this. What I want you to do is make a program where I'm going to take members of the public with no expertise or experience in filmmaking. Yeah. And within 2 years, I want you to make them an Oscar-winning director. So if you can do that, that'll be absolutely fabulous. Because to some extent, that's what we're talking about here. Yeah. We're talking about the elite, the best of the best, competing on the Olympic stage. This is not a fun run.
I mean, I've got a better idea, I think, for you. I was a correspondent at the Beijing Olympics, and one of the things that was extraordinary was the level of excellence was so amazing that it was difficult, because you didn't have anything to compare it to. They all looked massive and tall and brilliant, and so it's difficult to tell how brilliantly they're doing. And I was pitching a show called the 10th Lane, where basically I was actually pitching for me to do this. An ordinary member of the public would take part on a virtual lane, which you could see in every single Olympic sport. So you could just see how much better the average Olympian is to someone like me. So I think I'm too old for that now, but I really did want to give it a go. Sky, table tennis, that's just a hobby, right? I mean, it's not an Olympic sport. Surely if I just play that for a bit, let's say, I don't know, an hour a day for a year, I'd be up there, wouldn't I?
It's amazing. Well, when I was playing, people would say to me, what do you do? And I'd say, I'm a table tennis player. And they'd say, yeah, but what do you do for a job?
Ping pong.
People just don't know how much work and effort has to go in to be good at anything. I mean, there's a theory that you've got to play 10,000 hours at any sport to be at any level, and train 15 to 30 hours a week. Sport depends on, number one, how competitive is the sport, and what's the participation. So, for instance, with table tennis, there are millions and millions of people playing all over the world. Now, I know that some people will say, look at Steve Redgrave, the participation isn't that high. But Steve Redgrave trained at a level that most people wouldn't train at. They wouldn't want to train at. Olympians train at such a level, and the commitment is unbelievable. So there's only a small percentage of people that are willing to commit themselves to train at the level they need to, and that's not even including the talent. Very few people have talent.
That, Sky, that was what was interesting to me, because I've heard people say, 10,000 hours, that fact that you have to commit to something, is how much of that, let's say with table tennis, if someone just plays 10,000 hours of table tennis, are they going to be at that level, or do they also need that very special extra talent?
Yeah, they need to have the talent for the sport. There are certain people that have just got a talent for a certain sport. But hard work will always override talent. So first of all, there's a minute number of people that have a special talent for a sport. And to go to the Olympics, you've got to have a combination of a talent for the sport and an incredible work ethic. What we've got to remember is that those with an incredible work ethic for a sport are so few.
Yeah.
So for people to think that they can just get a coach and just train, you've got more chance of winning the lottery than going to the Olympics.
You're shattering my dreams here. Greg,
Sorry.
It's all right. Greg, you're a pentathlete, and obviously part of that is pistol shooting. I remember, is this all the fault of that Turkish guy who wandered in wearing shades? I don't think he was smoking, but he looked very relaxed and just put his hand in his pocket and just won the gold. And I think everyone thought, well, we can all do that. Was he an outlier, or what was the story there?
No, well, look, I mean, to some extent, what we're talking about here is this balance between nature and nurture. On one aspect of it is the nature is what are we born with? So, we've just heard about Steve Redgrave. Steve lives opposite me. He's a good mate of mine. He's got the nature where he's got a VO2 max in the late 70s, early 80s. Most ordinary individuals don't have anywhere near that. And so therefore he's got the genetic requirements to become an elite athlete. That's the first thing. Okay, the genetic requirements. You've then got to have effectively the nurture, and for me, the nurture is by far the biggest thing. What we're looking for is what I call the perfect storm. So the best example of this is someone like, let's take Usain Bolt, for example. He was born in Kingston, Jamaica. If he was born in Kingston, southwest London, he wouldn't be the fastest man on the planet. I'll tell you that for nothing.
Why not?
Because he doesn't have the perfect storm around him. In Jamaica, what you have is some of the fastest athletes in the world at high school. Every high school has a Mondo track. Every high school has got an elite coach. Every child in Jamaica wants to be an elite sprinter. And so therefore what you've got this sociological drive, you've got the physiological drive, you've got the psychological drive, but critically, you've got the socio-economic drive as well. So, if you think that all you need is a coach to become an elite athlete, what you have to think to yourself now is that you've got to give up everything else that you've currently got. So you can't work alongside this. When I was a modern pentathlete, I was on 40 hours a week of training. So that means now you've got to be able to support yourself. How do you do that? Very difficult to do financially. Socioeconomically, really quite difficult to do, because what are the expectations of where you should be? Where do you live? Are you near facilities? Are you near an elite coach? Yeah. Have you got the environment, where you can compete against the best in the world to become the best in the world? So it's an incredibly complex milieu. Becoming an elite athlete.
I get it. My last throw of the dice, and I'm not going to ask you to reply because we've run out of time, but surely if I was a little shorter, I could be a coxswain in a boat. That's just a little fella shouting at big people, isn't it? That's what I'm going to go with anyway. I could talk about this for 10 minutes. Trust me, I do believe that you guys are incredibly talented, and I was just doing that comedically. But that was Sky Andrew and Greg Whyte. Thank you very much for joining me. Looks like my LA Olympic dreams are shattered unless I can get that Cox thing going.